We're going to see if we can really switch from scarcity to abundance by just changing how we think. It says it's possible, but like, is it really that simple?
It is pretty fascinating, how much power our mindset really has, especially when it comes to money.
Right.
It's not just like, think positive and everything will be fine. There's actual science behind it,
Okay, so there's some real stuff behind it.
Yeah.
So this scarcity thinking idea,
Yeah.
is that a real thing?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, we all worry about money sometimes.
Absolutely. Those worries are completely natural,
Right.
but it's when those worries become kind of chronic, when they just don't go away and they're just kind of pervasive and they affect everything.
Right.
That's when scarcity thinking really takes root.
Okay.
And it can manifest as this just constant feeling of not having enough, like not enough money, not enough resources, not being enough, and always fearing loss.
Yeah. Okay, I'm starting to see the difference here between, just normal money worries
Yeah.
and like the scarcity thinking.
Yeah.
But how does that actually play out in our lives? Like, what does it look like?
No, think about it. If you're operating from this mindset of scarcity,
Yeah.
your brain is just kind of hyper-focused on potential threats and problems all the time.
Yeah.
And you might find yourself, constantly comparing yourself to others. Like, why do they have that and I don't? Or,
All right.
getting jealous of other people's successes, or even like hoarding resources instead of investing them.
Interesting.
It's like your brain is stuck in this survival mode, always scanning for danger.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So like the example in the book, choosing to squirrel away money instead of taking a calculated risk and investing it.
Exactly. You're so focused on protecting what you have that you miss out on all these opportunities to
Right.
grow and to expand. And the irony is that that fear-based approach actually can lead to the very outcomes that we're trying to avoid.
Yeah, you're so afraid of losing it that you actually end up losing it.
Exactly.
So how do we break free from this scarcity trap then?
Yeah.
The book talks about abundance thinking as like the antidote, right?
Well,
Is it really just like flipping a switch in your brain and suddenly you see the world through rose-colored glasses?
I wish it were that easy,
Yeah.
But the shift in mindset is really, really powerful.
Okay.
It's not about ignoring reality or pretending like everything's perfect.
Right.
It's about recognizing that there are always opportunities out there,
Okay.
even in the midst of challenges and difficulties.
Yeah.
And it's about seeing money as a tool that you can use for creation and for growth, not something to be afraid of or to hoard.
So instead of thinking there's only so much to go around, I better grab my share,
Right.
it's more like there's enough for everyone and I can create even more.
Yeah, it's a very different way of looking at things.
Yeah, it still feels a little abstract though.
Okay, well, let me try to make it a little bit more concrete for you.
Okay.
Okay, so let's say we have two people who are approaching a business opportunity.
Yeah.
One person is coming at it from that scarcity mindset,
Hmm.
and they're thinking things like, oh, what if I fail?
Right.
What if I lose all my money?
Right.
What if this doesn't work out?
Yeah.
The other person's coming at it from an abundance mindset, and they're asking questions like, how can I make this work? What resources are available?
Right.
Who can I partner with? How can I make this even bigger and better?
Right.
Do you see the difference in their energy and in their approach?
Yeah, totally. And like the abundance mindset sounds way less stressful.
It really is.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of that pressure off.
But how do we actually make that shift?
Yeah,
The book uses this phrase, billionaire brain wave.
right.
Is this some kind of secret society ritual?
Not exactly, but it does tap into something incredible,
Oh.
which is neuroplasticity,
Neuroplasticity.
which is the ability of our brains to change and adapt over time.
So our brains aren't fixed.
They're not fixed, they're constantly changing and adapting.
That's good to know.
Yeah, and the Billionaire Brain Wave is really a framework for rewiring those neural pathways to be more aligned with abundance thinking.
So it's not just like positive affirmations. It's
Yeah.
like actually changing the structure of our brains.
That's exactly right.
Sign me up.
It's about making conscious choices about your thoughts and your behaviors
Right.
to reinforce those patterns of abundance.
Okay.
And it's like training a muscle,
Yeah.
The more you use it, the stronger it becomes.
I'm intrigued. Break it down for me. What are the key elements of this billionaire brainwave?
Okay, so the book outlines 4 main components.
Okay.
Pattern interruption,
Okay.
neural retraining,
Okay.
emotional recalibration,
Hmm.
and cognitive restructuring.
Those are some pretty intense terms.
They are.
Can we break those down a little bit?
Absolutely.
What is pattern interruption and how does
Yeah.
that work?
All right, so imagine your brain has these well-worn pathways for scarcity thinking.
Okay.
And every time you encounter a challenge or, maybe a financial setback, those pathways just light up.
Yeah, I could see that happen.
And they trigger that fear and that anxiety.
Yeah, for sure.
Pattern interruption is about disrupting that automatic response before it spirals.
So you're not just ignoring those thoughts, you're actively interrupting them.
Exactly.
How do you do that?
Well, there's a lot of different techniques the book talks about, but one that's really simple is to use a physical cue.
A physical cue?
Yeah, so it could be something as simple as snapping your fingers or taking a deep breath.
Okay.
Or, visualizing a stop sign in your mind.
Interesting.
The key is to create this really strong association between that physical action and interrupting that thought pattern.
So you're retraining your brain to have a new automatic response.
That's exactly right.
I like it.
Yes.
And then what was the second one? Neural retraining.
Neural retraining, right? And this goes back to those neural pathways that we were talking about. Remember, it's about building new pathways for abundance thinking.
Okay.
So instead of those old fear-based pathways lighting up,
Right.
you're creating new pathways that trigger feelings of confidence and possibility and excitement.
Oh, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to see how these all fit together.
Yeah.
But we've still got emotional recalibration and cognitive restructuring.
We do.
Those sound pretty important too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So emotional recalibration, what is that all about?
So this is about addressing those underlying emotional patterns that are fueling the scarcity thinking.
Oh, okay.
Remember, fear and anxiety are really powerful drivers of our behavior.
Yeah, especially with money.
Especially with money, right?
Right.
So it's not just about changing our thoughts, it's also about working through those emotional blocks.
Right.
So that we can create space for more positive emotions like joy and gratitude and excitement.
Okay, I can see how that's super important.
Yeah.
But what about cognitive restructuring? That sounds pretty intense.
It is a little bit. It's about challenging and replacing those really deeply ingrained beliefs that are keeping us stuck in that scarcity mindset.
Okay.
And these are often subconscious beliefs that we've picked up, throughout our lives, maybe from our upbringing or from our culture or from past experiences.
So it's like weeding out those negative thought patterns that we might not even be aware of.
Yeah, exactly.
How do we even identify those?
It takes some self-reflection for sure.
Yeah.
But a good place to start is to pay attention to your self-talk.
Self-talk.
That's right. What are those negative thoughts that just keep popping up over and over again when you think about money or success?
Right.
Are you telling yourself you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not lucky enough to achieve your goals?
Yeah, I think we've all had those thoughts.
We all have.
Yeah, for sure. But then how do we go about restructuring those beliefs?
Well, one really powerful technique is to replace those limiting beliefs with empowering alternatives.
All right, give me an example.
Okay, so let's say your default belief is, I'll never be rich.
Ouch.
Right? But instead, you could try reframing that and say, I can create wealth through hard work and smart decisions and a positive mindset.
I love that.
It's about choosing a new story to tell yourself.
Yeah.
A more empowering story.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right.
So we've got pattern interruption to kind of stop those negative thought patterns in their tracks.
Right.
Neural retraining
Yeah.
to actually build those new pathways in our brains.
Yeah.
Emotional recalibration to deal with all the baggage
That's right.
that comes with those thoughts. And then cognitive restructuring to actually rewrite those beliefs.
You got it. That's a lot to digest.
It is a lot. And the cool thing is that this framework, the Billionaire Brain Wave, gives us all these practical tools and techniques and strategies that we can use to implement each of these components.
Okay, so now we've laid the groundwork. We understand the key pieces.
Yeah.
I'm really eager to get into the how-to.
I bet.
How do we actually put all this stuff into practice?
Yeah. But we get to save that for part 2 of our deep dive.
I know. I'm excited to share it with you.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
Yeah, folks, we're just getting started on this journey to abundance.
That's right.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the Billionaire Brain Wave.
Yeah.
We've laid the groundwork, understanding the power of mindset and the 4 key components of this technique. But now let's get into the practical stuff.
Yeah.
How do we actually use this, to rewire our brains for wealth and success?
Right. Yeah. That's the exciting part, putting these concepts into action. And, it's important to remember that it's not about overnight transformations,
Right.
It's a process. It's more like building a mental muscle.
Okay. Consistency noted.
Yeah.
So where do we even start? The book talks about a morning priming ritual. Is this like some kind of financial affirmation chant I need to do before I have my coffee?
Not necessarily. It can be as simple or as elaborate as you like, but the
Yeah.
idea is to really set the tone for your day by consciously, cultivating an abundance mindset.
Yeah. Okay, so no screens first thing in the morning. Got it.
Right.
But what should I actually be doing?
Well, visualization is a really powerful technique.
Right.
So imagine yourself actually living the life that you desire, financial freedom, fulfilling work, meaningful relationships, and really engage all your senses. What do you hear, what do you feel in this abundant reality?
Okay, I can see how that would be more effective than just vaguely, you know, wishing for things to be better.
Yeah.
But doesn't that feed into that whole fake it till you make it criticism that some people have of this approach?
It's not about pretending or denying your current reality at all. It's about training your brain to focus on what is possible,
Right.
to look for opportunities instead of limitations.
Okay.
And remember, our brains are naturally wired to look for evidence that confirms what we already believe.
Confirmation bias.
Exactly.
Talked about that.
So by consistently visualizing abundance, you're essentially feeding your brain new data
Oh.
and helping it create those new neural pathways.
So we're hacking our own confirmation bias.
We are
I like it.
using it to our advantage.
So what about those negative thoughts that inevitably creep in, throughout the day? How do we deal with those in the moment?
Yeah, that's where wealth language transformation comes in.
Wealth language transformation.
Yeah. And it's all about becoming more aware of the language we use both internally, like in our self-talk, and externally, in our conversations with others,
Okay.
and consciously choosing words that support that abundance mindset.
So less, I can't afford that, and more, how can I make this happen kind of thing.
Exactly.
It seems pretty simple, but does it really make that much of a difference?
It really does, because words are incredibly powerful. They shape our thoughts, and our thoughts then shape our actions.
Okay.
So by replacing that scarcity language with empowering alternatives, we're literally shifting our focus from lack to possibility.
It's like choosing to see the glass half full instead of half empty. All right, I'm ready to start reframing my inner dialogue. The book also mentions something called abundance evidence collection. What's that all about?
So this is about training your brain to really see all of the abundance that's already present in your life.
Okay.
Because the more evidence you can gather to support that belief, the stronger it becomes.
Right.
So one really simple way to do this is to keep a journal, and each day just write down at least 3 examples of abundance that you've witnessed or experienced.
3 examples.
Yeah, it could be a beautiful sunset or a delicious meal or a kind gesture or a new business opportunity, anything that resonates with you.
So it's like we're becoming abundance detectives,
Exactly.
actively looking for proof that the universe is generous.
I love that analogy.
It's a good one, right?
Yeah, and the more you practice this, the more your brain will start to automatically filter for abundance, even in those ordinary everyday moments.
Wow.
And it's also a great way to cultivate gratitude for what you already have.
Okay, this is all starting to feel less like magical thinking and more like a practical approach to actually rewiring our habits and perceptions. But let's be honest, sometimes we need more than just a mindset shift, right? We have to actually take action.
I completely agree. And the book actually calls it strategic discomfort practice.
Strategic discomfort practice.
Yes, and it's all about pushing past your comfort zone a little bit, taking calculated risks that are aligned with your goals.
So that's where the rubber meets the road.
It is.
It's easy to get caught up in the visualization and the affirmations,
Right.
but eventually you have to actually do something.
Right, but action is what creates results.
Right. But isn't that scary?
Of course it can be scary, but that discomfort is actually a sign that you're growing. It's a sign that you're expanding your limits and that you're stepping into new territory.
Okay.
And the more you can embrace those moments of discomfort, the more confident and resilient you'll become.
Okay. I'm willing to get a little uncomfortable if it means getting closer to my goals. But what about taking it too far? Becoming reckless or impulsive?
Yeah, that's why it's strategic discomfort.
Right.
It's about aligning your actions with your values and your goals, not just taking unnecessary risks for the sake of it.
Okay.
The book really emphasizes having a clear vision of what you want to achieve and then taking those calculated steps to get there.
So it's not about jumping out of airplanes or investing in some risky scheme
Right.
just for the thrill of it.
Exactly. It's about pushing yourself just a little bit beyond that comfort zone in a way that aligns with your goals.
I like that. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you become. Right?
Exactly.
I was reading this quote the other day. It said, "The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek."
Oh, that's a good one.
It's a good one, right?
Yeah.
It really speaks to that idea of facing our fears and, embracing the unknown.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so we've talked about morning rituals, language evidence collection, strategic discomfort. The book also mentions something called wealth network cultivation. It's this like joining a secret society of millionaires.
It's not quite that glamorous, but it is about recognizing the power of association. The people that you surround yourself with, they have a huge impact on your thoughts and your beliefs and your behaviors.
So it's not just about who you know.
Yeah.
It's about who you spend time with.
Exactly.
And who you allow to influence you.
Yeah. If you want to cultivate an abundance mindset, it's crucial to surround yourself with people who already embody that mindset because their energy and their perspectives, they rub off on you whether you realize it or not.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So be intentional about cultivating a network of people who inspire you, who support you, and who challenge you to think bigger.
Okay. I'm starting to see a pattern here. All of these techniques are kind of working together to create this upward spiral.
I like that.
Where our thoughts and our actions and our environment are all reinforcing abundance.
You got it. It's about creating this positive feedback loop that helps you break free from scarcity and step into your full potential.
I love that. So this has all been super insightful, but I know our listeners are probably eager to hear about real-world results. Does this stuff actually work?
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
I've seen people use the Billionaire Brain Wave to achieve incredible things, from paying off debt and starting successful businesses to attracting unexpected financial windfalls and creating lives that they once thought were impossible.
Really? Give me an example.
Okay, so I know someone who was really struggling financially, working multiple jobs just to make ends meet.
Right.
And he started practicing these techniques, diligently. And within a year, he had not only paid off all of his debt,
Wow.
but also launched his own business, which is now thriving.
That's amazing.
It shows that this is not just some feel-good theory.
Right.
It can lead to real, tangible results.
Life-changing results.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. Well, this has been a jam-packed episode, and I feel like we've only scratched the surface of this really powerful framework.
Yeah.
I know our listeners are probably like on the edge of their seats wanting to learn the final piece of the puzzle, the instant shift technique.
Yeah. The secret weapon.
The secret weapon. But we're going to have to save that for part 3 of our deep dive.
We are.
So stay tuned, folks. We'll be back to explore how to interrupt that scarcity thinking in the moment and realign with abundance, no matter what life throws your way.
That's right. See you then.
Okay, send us. Okay, abundance seekers, we're back for the final part of our deep dive into wealth mindset. Instantly switch from scarcity to abundance. We've explored the framework, we've learned the techniques, and now it's time for the secret weapon. The instant shift. Is this like a Jedi mind trick for money?
It's not quite a Jedi mind trick, but it is a really powerful tool for interrupting those automatic scarcity thoughts.
Okay.
Those ones that can just kind of sabotage our best efforts, even when we're really trying to be diligent about, all the other practices.
Right, because life happens.
Life happens, exactly.
And those thoughts can creep in.
They do.
So, okay, I'm all about mental shortcuts, especially when it comes to money.
Yeah.
So how does this instant shift work? Does it involve snapping my fingers and chanting affirmations?
I love that image, but no, it's actually a very simple 5-step process that you can use anytime, anywhere to just shift your mindset from that place of scarcity to abundance.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, so the first step is awareness. Just noticing that thought the moment it arises.
Yeah.
Don't judge yourself. Don't get caught up in the story. Just observe it.
So catching it red-handed.
Exactly.
Acknowledge it, but don't, get swept away.
Right.
Okay, what's next?
Next, take 3 deep breaths.
Okay.
And that's really just to kind of interrupt that pattern.
Yeah, deep breaths are always a good strategy.
They are.
They just calm everything down.
They do, and they create that little space for a new perspective.
Nice. What's step 3?
Step 3 is reframing. So ask yourself, what would someone with unlimited resources think in this situation?
So we're channeling our inner billionaire.
Exactly. You're borrowing their mindset for a moment.
I like that.
And then visualize yourself approaching that same situation from that new, more expansive perspective. See yourself making different decisions, taking different actions that are more aligned with that abundance.
Okay, so it's like we're stepping into a parallel universe.
I could say that.
Where anything is possible, and it doesn't matter if it feels a little far-fetched at first.
Not at all. The key is to just really engage your imagination and allow yourself to feel that shift in energy.
Okay. And then what's the final step?
The final step is to take one small action, even a tiny one, that aligns with that new, abundant perspective.
So translating that mental shift into some kind of concrete action.
That's right. It could be making a gratitude list or researching a new investment opportunity or reaching out to someone in your abundance network.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a huge thing. The point is just to kind of build that momentum.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and reinforce that new way of thinking.
So this instant shift technique is great. It's like a mental reset button.
Yeah, I like that.
We can use anytime those scarcity thoughts come creeping back in.
Exactly. And, it's important to remember that the more you practice this, the easier it will become to access that abundant state of mind.
So it's like building a muscle.
It is, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not just about quick fixes. It's about creating a lasting change in how we think.
Exactly. It's about rewiring your brain to respond to challenges with abundance rather than scarcity.
Wow. This has been an incredible deep dive. We've gone from understanding the power of mindset to learning all these practical techniques, and now we even have this secret weapon for instant mindset shifts.
It's been quite a journey.
It has been. And the best part is this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
The journey to abundance is ongoing.
It is.
And the more you embrace these principles,
Yeah.
the more you'll experience that magic of unlimited possibilities.
I love that. And it's about recognizing that we really do have the power within us to create the lives that we desire, starting with our thoughts and our beliefs.
That is a really inspiring message to end on. So to wrap up, what's the biggest takeaway you want our listeners to walk away with from our deep dive into wealth mindset?
I just want to remind everyone that you are not a victim of your circumstances.
Yeah.
You have the power to choose your thoughts, your beliefs, and your actions. And by aligning those with abundance, you can create a life that is truly filled with wealth and success and fulfillment.
Well said. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into wealth mindset. Instantly switch from scarcity to abundance.
It's been my pleasure.
Until next time, keep thinking bigger, bolder, more abundantly.